seems so obvious a statement. We play video games for the fun of it. As I've gotten older, though, and thanks to the internet, this sentiment doesn't seem quite so obvious. We're at a point now where we have become so hypercritical of any and all media we consume, and with the help of social media, we have the ability to fire our hot and mostly shitty takes on anything we consume without a second thought, not thinking about any consequences. Fan bases are rabid. In a time of instant knee-jerk reactions, have gamers forgotten why they got into the hobby in the first place? We'll answer this question and several others on the first episode of Series 13 of Downloadable Content, next! To 2026 and a brand new season of DLC. I am Brian, and with me we have Veronica.
Salutation.
We have Spencer.
Hi.
And for the first time in almost 4 years, we have a Wild Ryan. Welcome back.
Yeah. I know, I have returned from being outside it and actually doing some stuff because I just want to talk about video games now.
Wait a minute, you have a life outside of the science job you have?
Yes, I know. I will admit, I have been trying, although it is not always easy, but video games steal my heart any day.
Well, I'm glad you can make time out of your busy sciencing to be here today. So, yes, we're going to be talking about playing video games for the fun of it, which seems so obvious and so simple. But before we dive into our chat today, just want to remind everyone that every single episode of DLC can be found on the website, dlcpodcast.com, and it can also be found on Apple/iTunes. It can be found on YouTube, and it can also be found on Spotify. So all of the different ways to get downloadable content into your very own ears. So just make sure that you don't hurt yourself while doing it. So here we are, everyone. Now, the idea for this particular episode was brought on just by a very, very short little article in, I believe it was Edge magazine. The two print video game magazines that I subscribe to, which is Edge and Game Informer. But this was written by one of the writers, and I didn't have time to dive through my pile of magazines because idiot me forgot to earmark the page it was on. But just talking about just why we play video games for fun. And the writer was talking about that article from a games journalist point of view, like playing video games is their job. And so because when you play video games for work, you sometimes forget why you got into the hobby in the first place. With none of us being involved in games journalism, most of us, our experience with other gamers is typically either playing with other gamers or through streaming or through just interaction on social media. So things of that nature. So I figured that we can talk about this, again, seemingly obvious idea of why do we play video games? Like, it sounds like you say it out loud and it's like, well, fucking duh, of course we play video games for fun. But for me, as a Twitch streamer, like I play games that I've already played because I've had bad experiences doing first playthroughs, which will be a whole nother topic. But I see, unfortunately, as a creature of being online, just the shitty takes, the rabid fandoms, rabid fan bases. If you dare utter an opinion on a video game that is different from the accepted fan base's opinion, you could very well wind up being eviscerated for it, and things like that.
How does the saying go now with like all the Twitch streamers and their stuff? They're like, wait, let it cook for a minute, chat, or something, or like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
There's so little nuance now where you either have to love a game without criticism or hate a game, and like when you feel like you have to step in line with everybody else, it definitely takes the joy out.
And that's exactly what I mean. I learned a long time ago not to engage with fandom, but sometimes fandom engages with you, whether you are looking for it or not, without even trying. Like I had an opinion. My most vivid memory of it is where I'm sorry, Undertale fandom. I'm gonna have to shit on you again. That was the most visceral thing as far as reaction, because I consider Undertale to be an okay game. It wasn't my cup of tea overall. There were definitely some good things about it, things that I enjoyed. I love the soundtrack, great soundtrack. But to me, I thought it was an okay game, and which was vastly different from the fan base's opinion at large, which is like, this is the greatest game ever. This you cannot. There can be no criticism of this game, and I had some people coming out of the woodwork to with some very angry rebuttals. Like, dude, I didn't say your game sucked. It was not for me. I thought it was an okay game.
Of course, they're all gonna say, you didn't say it sucked, but you criticized the best part of it. You're not allowed to criticize this. We worship this game. You are not allowed to criticize anything about the game that we worship.
Apparently, I hurt people's fifis by saying it was an okay game.
I am one of those 10 out of 10 people for Undertale, where it's probably the game I would list as my favorite game of all time, and I still, I have no support for those people who are harassing people over this. Like, it can be meaningful and powerful for you. That doesn't mean you get to attack other people because of it.
And it's like, unfortunately, Undertale came out, this was pre-COVID. So, now it's, I think it's kind of gotten worse. You see this with not just video games, but like any media, movies, TV shows. Like, if you have, you're not allowed to just simply enjoy anymore, or even in some cases have an opinion. So I don't know if anyone else has had similar, online toxicity like that.
I wouldn't say I've had it, but I've definitely seen it in certain fandoms.
As a Pokemon fan who likes the newer generations, it's like impossible to be positive about those games without being violently attacked by Gen 1ers who demand that you hate the game because it's 3D. And then you get bombarded with the Ocarina of Time tree anytime you want to talk about anything about the game that's good.
That was actually the exact one I was going to bring up too, was Pokemon. So Sword and I've played all but one generation, and Sword and Shield is my favorite of the of Pokemon. And let's just say that's not a very popular opinion online.
No, I think every one of the Switch games, both 2 and 1, are like in the top 5 for Pokemon games. They're all fantastic.
I agree 100%.
And Pokemon has been around for so long, and just like for the I have seen on occasion the amount of love for Gen 1 is nuts, and the fact that for a series that's been out 30 years, that's
this year.
Yeah,
30-year anniversary.
For a series that's been out 30 years, that's like saying the first game in this franchise was the best, and everything that's come after it is just pale imitation.
I don't understand it. Like, I grew up with Gen 1. I love Gen 1. There's so many other good games in that franchise.
Are you sure?
I'm sure that they're the ones who introduced...
Oh, God.
Like, we could get so derailed.
Yes, we could. Yes, we
so
could.
easily get derailed.
Yes, we could. But just things like that. So, and then not just online comments, social media comments. Just like now we have an entire industry where people play video games for money, for work, like Twitch streaming. I'm not talking just games journalism. I'm talking about things like people who are now brand ambassadors for a certain developer, or people who just have big followings on Twitch. People who now draw their income from Twitch streaming, who make enough money to be able to support themselves, and I envy you so fucking much.
Oh yes, the VTubers and like those Twitch streamers. Yeah, which I never, to be honest, 5 years ago, I never thought that was going to be a thing. And then COVID hit, and now it's just like, I am seeing so many VTubers pop up. It's just like, wait, what?
Well, part of it too is like the anonymity of it is very appealing with how, gross people are and attacking people and doxing them and all that stuff. So having a nice identity to hide behind while you're doing your stream and not have to worry about that kind of stuff is extremely appealing.
So, I mean, for you, Spencer, I know that your streams predominantly are not casual playthroughs, you're speedrunning, and I know that for you, speedrunning is not, it's work, but you enjoy it. You very much enjoy speedrunning.
Yeah, it's not like my stream is making enough money for me to be, only streaming as my revenue source.
Since I do not catch a whole lot of speedrunning streams, just generally because life, is there any sort of been like hostility in that? Have you experienced in your like people coming to you with their shitty takes on games or opinions, or telling you you're doing it wrong?
You'll sometimes get people that are like fans of the speedrun and will come into your channel not knowing that you've been like running the game for a while and try and like backseat you when stuff's going wrong as if like you need help. But that's kind of rare. It's more so when you like first get into a game that you haven't done before where that'll happen. But I don't usually get casuals coming in and talking about the game casually.
Okay.
It does happen, but most of the time, once they realize it's a speedrun, they're just gonna leave because they don't want to see a speedrun. They want to backseat you while you're playing the game.
Yeah, just the backseating is why I don't do first playthroughs of video games. Like the couple of times that I've done first playthroughs, I've had it ruined for me either by people spoiling or people telling me how to play the game. That's happened a couple of times even on games that I've already played. Like the one that it happened the most on was when I was doing a 100% playthrough of The Legend of Dragoon, where I did actually have people come in to tell me like I'm doing it wrong, or if you go here, and I'd just be like, all right, I'd first be nice about it because you get one warning. Like I've already played the game. I know where to go, and then I think it was once ever did I actually have to throw the banhammer at someone because they had their one warning, kept on backseating, and I went, all right, nope, sorry, gone.
Yeah, that's why when I stream casually, it's only games that I've already played before, like remakes. Like I did RE4 remake. I already know what's going on in that game. You're not gonna be able to backseat me on that.
Yeah.
And like the Chrono Cross remaster, something like that. But I will never play like a raw brand new game on stream. Not interested.
Yeah, I wanted to give it a try just to have that experience, and then that was Horizon Zero Dawn. And people could not refrain from spoiling. Even friends of mine who
That's so goddamn disappointing.
even from friends who were inadvertently spoiling stuff for me, and so it's just like, okay, well, I'm not doing that again. So
No.
I'm not doing first playthroughs again, because we are now at a point with our society where, we just consume so much media so quickly, and for some reason we are now compelled to have some sort of hot take. It gets me thinking, and this is very much old man yells at cloud territory. What happened to just like playing a game and not saying anything, not having an opinion, or just enjoying? You're playing a video game for no other reason than just pure self-indulgence. And again, very old man yells at cloud. Very back in my day.
Back in my day, we didn't have all this Twitch streaming. We played it by ourselves and we enjoyed it.
We talked about it with friends if we really wanted to talk to somebody about it, but we did not have, the hypercritical. Your opinion is, if you posted a wrong opinion, that's you were like cast out, exiled, excommunicated.
You are canceled.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Like, because now we get people now who are like hate playing games. Like they're playing the game either for themselves or like streaming it just for the reaction. And I'm just like, okay, I guess that is, there's no real, quote, wrong way to play a game, despite what Nintendo will have you believe. But just like, really? All right, I'm not necessarily going to yuck your yum, but are there better uses of your time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Much better uses.
There are so many games out there that if you're playing a game that you don't like you're wasting your own time, regardless of whether that's successful streaming or whatever.
Like, doing it for the content.
Oh God.
So, I kind of come at this from a different direction, because for the fun of it, for me, I struggle pretty severely with depression. And that takes a lot of joy out of my hobbies for me. It makes it very difficult for me to enjoy a lot of things. And there are certain games, certain genres, certain things that I hold close to my heart, because they can spark joy and they can help get me out of a less than mentally productive rut that I'm in. And that's incredibly important. Being able to know the things that bring you joy, and being able to block out what anybody else is saying and just enjoy the thing, and being able to, for me, to use that to get me into a more healthy headspace. That's incredibly important for me.
And I'm sure that that's a sentiment that you are not alone in. Like, video games are as much fun as they are an escape, and it's, we're going to be talking about this, on future episodes, but there was a time, there was a time. This is a topic that gets up from time to time, on video gaming blogs, who when it's apparently a slow news day, when they is the single player experience dying?
The answer to that, no.
No.
Yeah,
No.
The answer is no.
The answer is no. And we ourselves are guilty of that. We did an entire episode years ago on that very topic.
Wasn't there like I forget what big company it was. I want to say it was almost like Microsoft was discovering, oh wait, people actually enjoy single player games. They're getting tired of multiplayer games, and more people are going to single player games. To which all of us old school gamers are like, duh.
The companies want single player to die because multiplayer is way more easy to milk us out of our money. But every time they talk about how single player is dying, we get a Claire Obscure, we get a Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, every time they start talking about how the genre that single player games are dying, it's not really a genre. We get something huge that rocks the industry, and it drives back the naysayers for a brief period of time, a respite.
Then, of course, all the big companies have to try and get back in there, especially what I've seen with Claire Obscure, which I'm playing right now, and it is very fun. They're like, oh, but that's it. They try to bring up some good excuse, like, it shouldn't have won that many awards, or it has it, and I'm just like, you're just upset because it's proving that multiplayer isn't nearly as popular as you want it to be, and you're not able to milk the sales. So, yeah, I give you the virtual middle finger.
Let's not knock multiplayer too much, though. Like, there are people who find a lot of joy in it, and that may not be my yum, but I'm not gonna yuck it for other people. I just have an issue with the companies that are trying to discount other games because of it.
Yeah, and like, single player games, I mean, going back to your point, Veronica, you know, video games not only are just fun, but also a means for escape. Like, the amount of joy I get from sitting down and playing like a narrative heavy game, you know, it's you know, a lot of people, you know, they have audiobooks or they read. I play a lot of video games for story, and I also play even now platforming games are so much more narratively heavy than ever before. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will sit down and play Super Mario World at the drop of a hat anytime, or an old Sonic game. But like more recent games like Silksong, Hollow Knight Silksong, like for a game, yes, that is one of the most narrative heavy single player games I've ever played. Like, for as difficult as that game was, it was still such an experience, and that is something I don't really want to, you know, have taken away, or have that ruined by people's shitty opinions of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I kind of did different categories of games that brought me joy, and that is definitely one of them. Like Hollow Knight, Deltarune, Undertale, In Stars and Time, I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. These are games, all of those brought me out of depression at one point. They were able to help me feel like myself, and in a lot of ways were able to help me do other things in my life to get me to a better place. Like, these very narrative heavy escapist experiences where I'm able to put myself in somebody else's skin, they help so much.
Difficulty of Silksong aside, I mean, I absolutely, you know, get it. Celeste is another one that I'll put in that in that discussion. So, Spencer, I know that, I mean, you've always been the type of person that you really don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. You've always, you know, you have always marched to the beat of your own drum. You know, you live and die. You live and die by RNG. That is.
Yes.
So
very much so.
Like, I don't. You seem like the type of person where things like people's like, you seem to almost enjoy the confrontation of tackling, you know, rebutting people's shitty takes on things.
Well, part of what drew me to this mindset in general is I feel like a lot of people have trouble separating favorite and best. Because something can be your favorite and still be a heavily flawed game. But it's your favorite because you know, you played it at a time in your life where it was really important to you, or it has a specific gameplay element that you have a bias towards, and thus you're going to overvalue. Other reasons can add on to that. Soundtrack's great, so the game doesn't matter as much. That kind of stuff. It doesn't invalidate being your favorite, but when you're trying to objectively identify what makes a game great, I think a lot of people don't understand that difference, and that's kind of where I find the enjoyment of the banter of it, because I think that trying to explain that to people directly is almost impossible, but being able to show them through actual facts and data that the game has to offer and being like, this is why this game isn't right. For example, Pokemon, like Gen 1 is a broken game. It's so broken. The actual
really
mechanics
is.
of the game do not work the way that they were intended, to the point where like ghost type attacks were designed to be super effective against psychic types. But they fucked up so badly that instead ghost type does 0 damage to psychic types. Like, that is a fundamental failure of game design to make that kind of a general error, because psychic types are so overpowered in the first generation because they have no type that does super effective damage to it. And like, that's something that is a massive flaw. And from a standpoint of, is this the best Pokemon game? No, because it has this massive flaw. That's too big to ignore. Is
That's
it
like-
a great game beyond that? Yes, of course. It was super popular. It made tons of money. It made the foundation for this fucking monolith franchise that like runs gaming, basically.
It kind of goes by something I've argued with other people of, there's a difference between how good a game is and how important a game is. A game that, you know, that's a trailblazer, that's breaking through, that's doing new things, they can be incredibly important and influential. That doesn't necessarily make them the best game that's ever done that, just because they were the first.
Right. Influence is very important when understanding why a game is great, but it can't be like the main factor, because it's something that is beyond the scope of the game's ability to control. Like, sure, RE4 is incredibly influential in probably more negative than positive ways, but that has nothing to do with how great the game is. If that makes
Same
sense.
thing, yeah, the same thing could be said for my favorite series of BioShock. One of the, in my personal opinion, one of the best games ever made. But I know that there are some people who are saying it was a cool game, but definitely not one of the best games ever made. So that's another one up there as well with it.
So what? So I think the thing that I'm getting from the three of you is we are having a bit of a hard time collectively as gamers, like separating emotion from, you know, like, separating emotion, nuance, and objectivity. Feeling very strongly about something is powerful, like, and because of that, feelings about a certain thing can drive you to do stupid shit.
Guilty.
I mean,
I would say a lot of... Sorry.
it's yeah, I mean, feelings, we're all guilty of it. I mean, you can't always be rational and objective about everything, but what I think,
You can't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad.
I mean, I'm not, but, you know, so go have fun, go fuck off. Yep.
A lot of discourse when it comes to video games is people talking around each other and talking about completely different things using the same words, and they think the other person's arguing the same point as them. And they're not. Some people are arguing what is personally the most emotional experience for them. Another person's arguing what is the most influential, what was the best, what was... Like, people are use the same language to refer to entirely different things. And that leads to the huge amounts of conflict that we can see in the gaming community a lot of the time. Because if you're not speaking the same language, you're not going to be able to get through to each other in any meaningful way. It's also probably a tangent from this podcast.
I mean, no, it all ties in. I mean, you know, you've basically hit the nail on the head, and because of things of social media, that only exacerbates it. It amplifies it.
It also doesn't help that games journalism has basically been destroyed by the industry itself. So there isn't a profession of people doing objective takes on games anymore. Like, the only thing that gets clicks is the emotional outbursts and the hot takes and the over the top opinions because having just like a actual educational, inflective review of a game is irrelevant to most people these days when they're deciding on if they want to play a game or not.
I would agree to that with you, Spencer. Mostly, if we're talking like online websites, absolutely 100%. Like, because I still occasionally read Kotaku and Polygon and IGN, and I will agree with you 100%. Those are knee-jerk reaction pieces through and through, and unfortunately, that's what a lot of us now gravitate toward. So yeah, the objective games journalism is, a little harder to come by. It still exists, but for those big sites, yeah, I can see it. It is why I still largely consume my games journalism through print. It's why I'm so glad that Game Informer came back. And Game Informer now, free from its GameStop shackles, which means they don't have to toe the company line anymore. It is an independent. It's now independent. I mean, yes, it's owned by Gunzilla? Is the company name? Yeah, Gunzilla.
But they spun it out, and they have no controlling stake.
They have no controlling stake. So where I'm going with this is that with print games journalism, it forces you to slow down. It forces you to actually think about what you're saying, because you only are putting out one magazine a month. So there's a little bit more time for objectivity, and especially on the part of Game Informer, since they don't have to answer to GameStop anymore, it means you're probably not going to find a whole lot of reviews anymore of games that GameStop really wants pushed. So
you don't get all the rage bait that you usually see like on the online stuff with it, because with a lot of the bigger ones, that's what I see a lot of times when they do the review. They're like, oh, how can we put in a hot take that will get everybody so pissed off at us that they'll put in comments like, no, this is wrong, and you did a crappy job on it. And how do we get more engagement like that? Yeah, I see that way too often on the online stuff.
The amount of rage comments that I see anytime Kotaku posts anything online, like, mission accomplished, people. You got it. There you go. You got your rage bait. So yeah, Spencer.
We caught 'em, boys.
Yeah. So I agree with you 100% on that particular front, Spencer. That I do think games journalism now it fuels the shitty hot take ecosystem that we're all now a victim of. Which is why I say
you can say that Gamergate is like kind of the beginning of all that, because that was when all that stuff really started to become a true like thing that the average gamer had to talk about, instead of it being just like confined to the shittiness of where it belonged previously.
Yeah, it escaped confinement of the neckbeards, and it's now
that particular game of Pandemic, we failed as a society.
Yes.
And now we all have to suffer from it.
God damn it. But yeah, I mean, this is why I now I stick predominantly to Edge and Game Informer. I do. I mean, on a very big tangent. I mean, that's that quote older kind of media. I mean, it forces you to slow down because it's print. You cannot. By its very nature, you cannot rush the shitty hot takes. And also,
that's kind of why I like podcasts for my news as well, because they have a similar kind of, you can't really be doing a podcast like the day after some big news thing happened, because that's not how podcasting works. You schedule those things way in advance and have your topics figured out before you start the podcast, and notes and research and all that stuff. So
I mean, even with news podcasts, I mean, obviously they have a much quicker turnaround than this fine sophisticated program, but but even like topical stuff, I mean, even then it's not, you're not able to put the shittiest momentary take right there, because there's exactly that, there's research, there's editing. I mean, there's still shitty hot take podcasts out there, but it's a little more. You take your time a little bit more with the bullshit.
Look, Brian, we know that it takes the team of monkeys you have clacking away to make the script. It takes a while, so we understand. We're not gonna hold that against you.
God, I miss the days when I used to crank one of these out every 2 weeks, and now I'm lucky if I get one a month out. It's a minor miracle. What happened to me? A social life is what happened to me. But
social life, and if you remember way back in the ye old days, fantasy world forums, and we used to do all that stuff.
Back when I didn't have responsibility. Fuck.
Yes.
God,
Brian, us extrovert gamers don't have it easy, okay?
I know. I just, what the fuck? what the hell, man? So, but no, that was a really good point, though. I mean, I could do another episode of the deterioration of games journalism, the enshittification of games journalism. But no,
we've got like a whole quarter season of podcast ideas just from the 30 or so minutes we've been talking about.
Yes.
There we go. Look at that.
Apparently, we're just recording a meeting and not actual podcast today.
Surprise!
Surprise, grasshopper!
Yeah, and I come back to this is the evolution of the industry as we have gotten older. So branching off of the games journalism thing, with the fact that we can now put our shittiest takes on social media at any given moment, how does that affect the industry? Like, are developers looking at all of the social media blah, and reacting to it accordingly by does that have an effect on development at all?
I mean, considering Metacritic scores are what their bonuses are based on in a lot of companies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so in a lot of companies, you have to hit a minimum Metacritic score to be able to get your bonus, and bonus levels are gated behind how high of a Metacritic score you are able to get. It's a really, really shitty practice, and so many people in the industry have talked about how bad of a practice it is. But
yeah, that's terrible. That is absolutely terrible.
It's like, I mean, you also have those what are they called, the review bombs that happen as well too, when people.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I've seen games that I've enjoyed become victims of those, just because people don't want it to do well, even though it looks really good. They're like, no, this game can't do well because of XYZ or anything like that, and then they just review bomb the hell out of it. When in reality, the game is actually pretty decent. They just don't want to give it a shot, or it's because it's part of a certain franchise or a certain developer made it. So
it's woke.
I've seen that. Yeah, it's woke. It's DEI. It's.
Yep. I mean, another one that happens a lot with review bombing is when the company has done something sketchy, so all of their games are getting review bombed, and I don't think it's neither here nor there on whether that is an ethical thing to do or not, but that is definitely an issue that I've seen.
So I'm guessing the point that we're all approaching is that, like most things, people are the problem.
I mean, we've known this for how long?
It all comes back to money or people are the problem. All right.
I suppose the question is, how do we get past all of that? How do you find the fun in games, and what is the fun you find in them?
I mean, I always go back to that single player experience for me personally. I mean, single player has always been very special and very precious to me. That's why, again, when I do a brand new game, first playthrough, I don't stream it. I want to enjoy all of the things that game has to offer. And I typically don't really voice an opinion about it online. I mean, I was burned by Undertale, the Undertale fandom. So, I mean, that's
as a representative of that fandom, I apologize.
Thank you. Mea culpa. I mean, that's another thing. as with everything, if you enjoy a thing, you want to share that enjoyment with others. And if you get burned by angry fandom for having a different opinion, that's gonna shut you up. That's gonna prevent you from sharing something you enjoy with the world, because assholes are gonna come in and just diarrhea all over it. It's so, I mean, I don't really engage with fandom, and so I've kept a lot of my own video game joy for myself. I really miss the couch co-op experience as well. That was something I used to get a lot of joy in. Like the amount of times, you know, as a kid and in school and even well into college, just the amount of times we'd have friends over for Mario Kart or Smash Brothers or Mario Party or like fighting games like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. Like, I miss those games. I miss the couch co-op.
I'm glad to see couch co-op making a comeback, especially in indie games.
Yeah, because the indie devs are not going at, they don't see they don't hate their customers. They don't see indie devs by and large see their players as not just fans but also people. Funny, I know, funny concept. I know, violates every known law of business. Whereas AAA developers go, oh, multiplayer? We see dollar signs in our eyes. Let's do. But agreed. I'm glad to see couch co-op, you know, making a comeback in the indie scene as well. And I will always. I mean, I had it when I was a kid, and I have it to this day. You know, just the joy of playing a game by yourself for yourself.
Mm.
You know, I just I don't need to have an opinion on this. I don't need to. I can just sit back and enjoy, and fortunately, I can still find that.
There are a few games that I played that have been like that, and I don't know if they're like specific elements, but there are, I think, 3 or 4 games in particular that I can remember playing, which are actually on the earlier consoles. Not, I don't even think on like my PS5, but there were some on like PS3 and maybe even Nintendo GameCube that I played that just were like, I played through them and I'm just like, this was great. I don't care about what anybody else thinks of it. I just love getting through it, and now I'm a little sad that I got through it, but I loved it.
Just going off of a couple of things you mentioned, Brian.
Yep.
Like the engaging in fandom. I typically don't engage with the more toxic side of fandom.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
But when I find a narrative game that I am super into, it becomes a hyperfixation for me. And like, when I finished playing in Stars in Time, I read 500,000 words in fan fiction the week I finished it, which was impressive for me. Like, I think there's healthy fandom to engage in. It's just keeping that fandom, that interaction healthy for you. At least for me.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's always a flip side to that. For example, like I also enjoy, like, after I beat Silksong, I watched a lot of videos on the lore of the game, because there's a lot of stuff that you can miss in both Hollow Knight games. There's a lot of story hidden in various points, little story blips that don't make sense to you when you first discover them, but then make sense a lot later. And because of things like YouTube, where you can do that now, you can make whole video essays on certain aspects of the lore. I forget what the name of the YouTuber is, but they did an entire series of videos just on, like, Hornet's background, the Weavers, the Conductors.
Yep.
I can name a couple YouTubers that could be.
Yeah. But so yes, to your point, there is the positive side of fandom, and you have to go looking for it. You really have to go looking for it because it's very, very easy to find the vitriol in fandom because that's just the nature of the internet and specifically social media in general. They're designed to amplify rage and all of that. So it's much easier to find shitty takes than
Brian, I'm actually gonna also jump on with lore as well too, because you and I actually both know about this very well. BioShock, outside of the games, has one of the best things of lore, especially with the companion book to it. Because I think you've read the companion book as well too. The was it Welcome to Rapture, if I remember correctly, on that book?
The prequel novel, yes.
The prequel novel, yes.
Yes.
That dived huge into the lore of BioShock and actually really just brought it back full circle with the first the games and then the DLC of Burial at Sea for that. That to me was one of the best parts of the fandom of BioShock, is just how everything came full circle with it.
And it's, you know what the thing that pissed me off most about the prequel novel, Ryan, is
what?
it humanized Andrew Ryan, and I hate that.
Yes, that is the one.
I hated that. I hate the fact that, because when you play the first BioShock game, is all you get is the defeated, angry, capitalist, ruthless, scared Andrew Ryan. You do not get anything leading up before the fall of Rapture. That gets expounded upon in the prequel novel, and I'm like, oh, I have pity for him. Fuck! Fucking hell!
Yep, I remember
Fucking
just
hell!
Damn it, do I really have pity for this capitalist asshole?
God
fuck.
Damn it! God fucking damn it. But yes, I'm sorry, I think I cut you off, Veronica. You were about to say.
I think you did, but I don't remember where I was going.
All right, it'll come back at 4 a.m. You'll wake up and message me.
But I will say, for games that bring me joy, you talked about narrative-heavy games. That's definitely a thing for me. But another one is a category I call unexpected games. Games that give you things that were not what you had expected going in. Things like Frog Fractions, or Stanley Parable, Monster Prom, Pony Island, Outer Wilds. Games that, when you go into them, become something very different through play, and that wonder, at least for me, goes through me as well. The wonder of discovery.
So, would that would that involve things like, point-and-click exploratory games? Because I think of Myst and Riven and Zork Nemesis.
Yep.
I think Zork and the first Myst absolutely would fall into that category.
Because while I never beat Zork Nemesis, I kept a notebook for Myst. Because just diving into that world was so fascinating. And the 3 Myst novels.
Oh, yes.
That just further add to that. So good.
Yep. Myst was definitely one of the good ones of that.
It was. But I will say a last thing for me. The single most joy that I get out of a game, and this is one that is, unlike almost everything, something I can return to, and that is actually a game I'll be talking about on a different podcast later, called Game Dev Tycoon, which has become a bit of a ritual for Deja and I, where every 6 months to a year we'll get together. She'll play on one system, I'll play on another, and we will do what we call a game jam, where we are playing the game separately and trying to make more and more ridiculous games and titles to just make the other person giggle. And the stories we make up for our companies. It is a delight, and it is wonderful that it is a source of joy that I can return to over and over again.
Nice.
Even as Deja is creating her werewolf romance games.
There you go.
Yep,
There you
that's
go.
a good one.
There you go. And I actually think we're since we're now starting to talk about games that bring us joy, I think that is where we're going to stop, and we're going to for now, and we're going to continue in the games that bring us joy. There we go, rented lips. We're going to continue that in the second half. So we will cut to break. You'll have some music, as is our custom. You are listening to the very first episode of 2026 of DLC. We're talking about playing video games just for the fun of it because we enjoy it. So we'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to our lovely episode of DLC. We're all still here. We have not been eviscerated by the nastiness of the internet. So we're going to...
The trolls haven't come for us after that first half.
No, not yet.
Okay, yeah, not yet.
Get ready! Get ready to fight off the waves. But yes, we're gonna pick up our chat from where we ended, as Veronica was starting to talk about the games that she plays that bring her joy, that she has fun, fun playing, just because they're total self-indulgent and they're fun and they're great and they're lovely. So we're gonna pick it right back up. So you were talking about the game jam thing.
Yes,
Game Dev Tycoon.
Game Dev Tycoon. Old game at this point, over a decade old at this point, but we continue to come back to it. Like I said, like every 6 months to a year, and it's just something we can play. We'll take a weekend day that we're together and just have the biggest blast as we try not to bankrupt our companies and just make the most ridiculous games we can think of.
Oh, I'm. That sounds like a wonderful time. This is where I wish that my own spouse was more of a gamer, because that is not a particular interest. You know, that's like Ethan does enjoy video games, but very selectively, like nowhere near as much as I. So that's I'm glad that you and DJ are able to do that.
I was gonna say I know that. I have a couple gaming recommendations from Ethan that are sitting on my list to complete this year.
Yes, good. So I will. I'll name one that I still will pop on from time to time. So a game that I can pop on at any time just because I love it, and it's. So I don't typically play games for escapism, quote unquote reasons, to get away from the soul-crushing drudgery that is my life. But Ori.
Oh
yes. Yep.
You mean the prettiest game ever made?
Yes, in fact. Ori and the Blind Forest. That's just one of those games that is pure self-indulgence. Like, I've beaten it a bunch of times at this point, but it's just so pretty and the music is just so calming. It's just like, all right, I'm gonna just enjoy. I'm just going to dive into this world, and I have if Horizon wasn't as long as it is, I would also put that in that category.
It's got that feel. It really does, but it's a little too long to just throw on randomly like that.
Yeah.
That's why it's so key to make like saves at specific points in games like that, so that when you want to return to them, you can do that without having to like play through the first like 40 hours when you don't want to commit to the whole game and you just want to get like some time in.
I hadn't even thought of that. That's genius. Thank you for
I
the
do that.
recommendation.
Oh, you're welcome. I do that with like Spider-Man 2 and Red Dead Redemption 2. If I just want to like do some like horseback vibing or web swing vibing where I'm not going to play the game and I'm just going to traverse just to like mellow out for a day. Like that's just what I have like saves specifically in mind for that.
I think you just blew Veronica's mind with that.
Yeah.
What? I can do that
in a couple games.
Although, admittedly, now that you've made it so obvious, now I'm like, do that in Horizon. If I just want to ride, just get on a horse in Horizon and just ride.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. Have a save at a nice little point in Horizon. And I'm going to do the same thing for probably Tears of the Kingdom. Those are two games that would be nice just to be able to jump into once you have most of your traversal abilities and just vibe for a while.
Like, what got me to do it specifically for Spider-Man 2 was how those games, I'm saying these are the Insomniac games I'm talking about, those games love to do, like, end games where the map is, like, covered in enemies, and just, like, being able to normally traverse is basically impossible because you're just constantly being attacked by people on rooftops. And I was like, I want to be able to do this, but not at this point in the game. So I just like made a save previously on the next playthrough, and now can just jam out to whatever I want to do.
That makes a lot of sense.
Although going back to it for a second, Veronica, like the last save for both Horizon games are just before the final boss. So at that point, you have the entire game open to you, that you could just fast travel to anywhere on the world map. And
my problem is, I 100% completed the game, so that save would be me going in, but there would be nothing for me to actually do. So this would be more me go get the basic traversal stuff, get my basic abilities all set up, and then just save it there. Where, okay, what do you want to do? I could go do this. I could go take out one of these fortresses. I could go just whatever I'm feeling.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, yep. Like, okay, you're flying or you're riding a horse, and you're like, maybe I feel like taking out a bunch of thieves at one of these outposts, or something like that.
Exactly. You got it.
All right.
It would have been great if I had gotten flight before I had finished killing all of the outposts, because that would have been hilarious.
Well, then I might just have to go into one of my files where I did beat the game, but I didn't 100% it. And oh, there you go. There you go. Mind blown. You've just invented something revolutionary, Spencer. What?
This is why everyone should take my opinions more seriously, because I'm just right all the time.
And the moral of the story is appreciate what you've got, because basically I'm fantastic. That's Spencer right there.
Yeah. That's the moral right there that we all man.
But yeah, so like Ori is pure self-indulgence for me. Now I'm gonna make Horizon pure indulgence for me. Welcome, thank you. And then even old games, like I have my RetroPie, like a game that I've beaten a billion, like Super Mario World. Like what? I mean, and that's short enough where I could just blaze through it in an afternoon if I so desired. Like it's. Or one of the old.
You could do it in 10 minutes if you really wanted to.
I could. Yes, I absolutely could. If I'm just gonna take the Star Road and just suddenly show up on Bowser's doors. Like, wait, what?
Yep.
Wait, what? You absolutely could do that. Yes. Or, and I know this will make Veronica cringe. I'll pull out one of the old Sonic games.
Oh yeah.
Because I can beat like Sonic 1 and 2 in my sleep. It's
I love the games. I'm just so bad at them.
that'll be the bane of your existence, you know. At that, you know, you'll be dead and gone, and I will walk over to your grave and I'll just put a Sonic ring on it.
And then they'll be revived.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Here you go. Hey, Veronica,
Immortality is mine.
Veronica, you're 105. Here's a Genesis. Give it a try.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'll just teach you how to speedrun Sonic 2. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Yeah, that's.
Yep.
So those are a couple of games that I played just simply for fun and pure indulgence. I have more, but we have other people to on this panel, you see. So how about you, Ryan?
All right, I'll actually also jump in with you, Brian, with these Sonic games. Specifically, 3 of them I can think of. Sonic 3D Blast, Sonic Spinball, and then most recently Sonic Frontiers. Those ones, ooh. Yeah.
So many hours spent playing Sonic Spinball. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Same. You're right. Oh. I'm with you. I'm with you on Sonic Spinball until the final level.
Oh, yeah.
I was so freaking humbled the last time I did a charity stream and I played Sonic Spinball because I got through the first 3 levels so fast, and then that final level that I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have to save state this because I was playing on an emulator at the time. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have to just use save states because the difficulty spike on the 4th level is insane.
It really.
It's like all the previous 3 levels are there to teach you how to properly play the 4th level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So Ryan, you mentioned Sonic Frontiers.
Yes, that was actually the newest one that I played, and I only found out about that actually through it was 2 years ago in the summertime out in Boston at Symphony Hall. They had the Sonic Symphony out there, and they played some of the songs. Yeah, they played some of the songs from Sonic Frontiers, and
They did.
it went from like the orchestral, the classic retro Sonic games, to just a full-blown rock concert with the Sonic Frontier stuff and more things like that. And I'm like, how did I not know about this? And where the hell did I find it? It's like, oh, this is all Sonic Frontiers. And I'm like, why have I been putting this game off? I played through it. And I'm just like, I have a new comfort game with this one. I enjoyed that one way more than I thought I would. I'm like, there are some parts that like I didn't do all the challenges because I didn't really feel like it, but just the places you could explore and everything, I was just like, oh, this was amazing to do for that one. So Sonic Frontiers is definitely with that for me. And then the next one, and the games like these ones, I assume you guys are familiar with the Infamous game series, like Infamous itself, and then the sequels to those ones. Those
I've
ones
never played.
So Infamous was an interesting one to get into because it's like you get the powers, you go against the enemies, and then you had to do like little side quests and clear out the enemies with that one. So that was actually a really, really fun one to do because you were able to upgrade your powers so much with things, and then as you went through, you were able to clear the enemies really easily for that. And I found that there's actually what I would call like sort of, I don't know if I call it a spiritual successor, but it's very similar to the Infamous games. It's a newer game called Forspoken, and it's very, very similar to Infamous. I put it like if Infamous took place in a fantasy realm, basically. For that, it was fun to play through that one. I know people gave it some mixed reviews, but it's just like, yeah, you guys are just all complaining about like some of the buggy fixes. That's why I got it used, and it has been out for I think 3 years now. So all the patches went through and everything like that. So I had no problem with the game at all, and it was fun.
I've never played Infamous. I only in name only. I've only heard of it, so I'm glad.
I know it by reputation only.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I pretty much didn't have a PS3, so that was just a franchise that completely missed me.
On the other hand, Ryan, I played the crap out of Sonic Frontiers. Holy, that is such a good game. It is everything I've wanted out of 3D Sonic for years. It is a flawed game in a crap load of different ways, but right alongside this, none of the flaws affected the joy I felt playing.
Yes, that was such a fun one. And then at some point, I'm gonna have to get Sonic Shadow Generations because that looks so good. I don't think it's a remake of stuff, but it looks good with it.
It is another full-sized campaign stapled onto Sonic Generations, and they did some updates to Sonic Generations alongside it. So, like, it is another full-length campaign.
So basically, yeah, I need to get my hands on that soon. And that's going to be just one of the ones that, yeah, this is going to be fun, and I'm just playing it because Sonic, that's why.
Yeah. They took all of the stuff we loved about Sonic Frontiers and then fixed a bunch of the flaws that we had in Sonic Frontiers.
Wow.
Leading to Shadow Generations is probably the best 3D game in the franchise.
I will definitely have to
I'm
get
willing
that.
to be wrong about that, but...
And there you go. All right. So Spencer, what are some games that are your pure comfort, play purely for funsies?
So I don't really have it by game per se. It's more so like what I'm in the mood to do.
All right.
So I have like specific, like going back to like having those saves that we were talking about earlier. Like I have like when I'm in the mood to just traverse and not really do anything in the gameplay beyond just like movement, I will throw up like Red Dead Redemption 2 or Spider-Man 2 or for a bit it was the original Red Dead before Red Dead 2 came out. So, or the Activision Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire second movie game for those same things. Just like brain off, just mental state is on flow, not trying to achieve anything, get anything, just literally traversing through the levels. I also have saves for when I'm in the mood for a specific set piece. So, for example, in God of War, the first God of War, the original God of War, there is, if you're familiar, there are a couple of really intense boss fights in that game. One of them being a giant minotaur, the other one being, spoiler-free, one of the last fights in the game. If you know, you know. And like sometimes when I'm in the mood for just like hack and slash melee craziness, I will pull up those saves and I will play that. And I have that for like basically everything that you can think of. Like if I'm in the mood for some puzzles, I'll have saves right before a specific puzzle. Or if I want to do like multiplayer stuff, I have a couple of games that I have saves for doing multiplayer stuff. And I'm never like stuck on one or two games for that. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. It's more of like what I'm in the mood for when I'm not going to be productive playing like the game that's new to me, or the game that I'm replaying to like review it again.
No, I get that. I mean, it's that's. I don't have a similar mindset, but I mean, like I will, if we're talking pure indulgence, like. It's definitely not a cozy game. Like the PlayStation Resident Evil games is another one for me. Like especially Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, because I still have the save file. Like I've unlocked unlimited ammo for every weapon in the game, and so sometimes I'll just as you said, Spencer. So like brain off. I've played this game a billion times. I know that the map like the back of my hand. Let's get the infinite rocket launcher and Magnum and just let's party.
Point, shoot, repeat.
Yeah, and see how quickly I can beat it. But because that was something I used to do as a kid for Resident Evil 3. It was like I got to the point where I could beat the game without saving it in like under 90 minutes. But
yeah, that's basically me with Resident Evil 4. Like, I can just fire that up from the start and just play through the entire game. Yeah, it's just like easy peasy.
Mm-hmm. Especially once you unlock everything, and it's like, okay, I'm more powerful than God. Let's go.
A game that you've played so much, it's part of your DNA.
Yep.
Yeah, basically. Like, oh, I can take out an El Gigante in one shot. All right, let's do this.
or the when
you just buy an RPG. That's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you go against the mutated form of the father there. I forget his name, but in the village, and then he mutates into that weird ass creepy being. And you're like, oh, you think you're threatening me? Or here, take a limited RPG ammo to the face.
I will say though, it doesn't matter what version of Resident Evil 4. Taking an RPG to fuck, I'm blanking on the name. Salazar. That is the most satisfying part of the game right there.
Yeah. Mr. Kennedy.
All right, shut up. Shut up.
Boom.
Yeah, that's a good fight to use. Because you get that free RPG like in the castle, and that's a good spot to use it. Mm-hmm. Either that or the Verdugo, since that makes that fight a lot quicker.
Yes.
You just freeze them and blast them.
Yep, done. But no, I can absolutely see that the different games for different moods. Whether you would just want to take your brain off the hook and go. Like I could also imagine you mentioned Tears of the Kingdom, Veronica. I also imagine Breath of the Wild would also be a good candidate for that.
Absolutely. When I said Tears of the Kingdom, I kind of meant like that whole block right there.
You meant the Elder Scrolls Hyrule. I got it. It's
Another thing I used to do before like video game music became so easily accessible on YouTube and other sites would be like fire up a game just to have like a song playing in the background.
Yes, I would do the same. I used to do that quite a bit for Skyrim, actually.
I think it's surprised to no one Chrono Trigger would be a big one.
Yeah,
I would do that for.
Anything Mitsuda.
Yep.
I was going to say, the three of us with icons have all discussed the icon that we have in this episode.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we have.
Yep. It's but no, that's another good one. Let's see, another game that I will sometimes just fire up completely for fun. I don't usually do that with RPGs because I still need brain for that. So the games for me would be, again, short games, platformers, even
mobile games.
Mobile,
like, yes. Whether it be like phone mobile or like a handheld game console, that's also another like subgenre of like when you are out and have to wait and you want to vibe with a video game, and there you go.
So this one does unfortunately require an internet connection, but I really enjoy. It's on the Switch. Tetris 99.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Every time I think of Tetris 99, I just think of the infinitely better Mario 99, and
That's what I was
Yes,
gonna say.
yes.
Rest in
No,
pepperoni.
I know. We all thought it. If Mario 99 still existed, if Nintendo didn't make that a fucking limited time game, you assholes,
In
Bring-
the memory of
bring Mario 99 back, you fucking cowards.
And like, where's my Super Mario Brothers 3 sequel to that, and eventually Super Mario World sequel to that? Like, they had a cash cow. Like, this
Seriously?
is why Nintendo makes no sense to me, because all the haters will say that they're like just money glubs, and it's like, if they were really money glubs, we would have so much more shit that they would put out, because they like, there's so many ideas you could say for Nintendo products that like will never happen, and if they did it, they would make billions of dollars and probably just like
Yep.
monopolize the entire industry.
they'll just bring Mario 99 back in another like 7 years or whatever.
Yeah, the 20-year anniversary of Mario 99, they'll make it accessible for one day.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
Oh, Nintendo hates its fans so much. They're like Disney. It's
They really do. There's another company.
Oh, hey, I just got the
that-
cease and desist letter from both Nintendo and Disney.
Yes.
Well,
There's
it's a
actually,
good run, guys.
there's actually another.
The mouse is
another
watching.
company- Oh god. There's actually another company. I haven't played these in a while, but I've seen some of my friends play them, and these games are truly turn off your brain and just watch for pretty colors and good character models. All the games from Hoyoverse, which is from South Korea. So the Hoyoverse stuff includes like Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and a few other things. I remember when Genshin Impact first came out back during the pandemic, and it intrigued me because it had like a lot of mechanics similar to like Breath of the Wild and stuff like that. So I decided, oh hey, you know what? Pretty colors, characters look neat and colorful and stuff. Why don't I play it? And it really was one of those games where I just like I could turn off my brain, go through it, have fun with it, and then Hoyoverse got greedy. So yeah, it started off good, and then
The only one of those games that I have heard of that you just mentioned was Genshin Impact. That's the only one that I heard of.
yep, and that's one of the most popular ones too.
I've heard of several of them because several people in my Friday night gaming group play them. It's never been my jam, but I know a lot of people enjoy them.
Yep, those are the games that I just call the. If I decide I want to go on it, turn off my brain, look at the pretty colors, and have fun with some hack and slash or other battles like that. I use no brain power with those games at all. It's just like, oh, hey, pretty colors. That character looks cool. Ooh, what's this next thing? All right, I'll play it for it as long as I feel like it.
I have a couple. I have 4 games that are kind of like the things that I just continue to come back to. I typically don't replay games a bunch of times, but there are a couple. The first one we talked about a little bit earlier. For me, Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight from the beginning was a comfort game for me. I was at a convention, and I got there, and I ended up getting real sick to the point that I couldn't do anything at the convention. I just had to stay in the room, and I had Hollow Knight already. I knew I was going to enjoy it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be sick and miserable. This is gonna be my chance to really just sit down and dig into it. And I played Hollow Knight that entire weekend, and by the end of it, I had fallen in love. Like that first Hollow Knight game is something special. It's something I can always come back to. I have played through that game 5 times now. Which is a huge number for me. And
that's not even half the number of endings that Chrono Trigger has.
Chrono Trigger is the other game that I've played through. I've gotten every ending in Chrono Trigger. It was one of the few games I had as a child. That is the other game that I've replayed an absurd number of times.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Okay, sorry.
yeah, like RPG is not something I typically, replay, but Chrono Trigger, I mean, okay, fine. You make the exception for Chrono Trigger. It's fucking Chrono Trigger.
It's also incredibly short
Yes.
for an RPG.
I mean, for anything these days.
Yeah.
When's the last time you played a 50-hour game that wasn't pure indie?
Like the two. So I said Hollow Knight, Chrono Trigger, and Undertale are the two of the other games on my list. Both are RPGs, but both are incredibly short. Like, you can knock them out in a session if you really wanted to, 2 sessions maybe.
Yeah.
And the final game for me, that's just something I can come back to anytime. This is gonna be a real weird one because it is not the same game every time. It's the first Legend of Zelda randomized.
Interesting.
Which is just, yeah, it takes something that I love, that I enjoy, and then it mixes the whole thing up. I typically do it with both the first adventure and second adventure locations randomly chosen, so you don't even know what all the locations are going to be this time. And just go. And it's like living that adventure again for the first time. It is a wondrous way to play it, and highly recommended if any of you are fans of the first Legend of Zelda, as just a new, interesting way to experience it.
I've always watched speedrunners play the randomizers of various games, but I personally haven't gotten into them, not out of distaste, more just because that time is spent speedrunning, not randomizing. Really what it boils down to.
I've seen a Link to the Past randomizer, not the first Zelda.
I've done a Link to the Past randomizer as well. Both of them are excellent. There's the Zelda 2 randomizer is the most interesting because one of the randomizer settings is to randomize the overworld entirely.
Oh.
Yeah. It definitely makes for an interesting game. That is the only one of those that I have not done personally. I've done Zelda 1, I've done Link to the Past, I have done Ocarina of Time. I've never done Zelda 2 yet, but I have watched it get done, and it is definitely a trip.
There are a lot of games that have randomizers now. Like, pretty much anything that has like enough of an emulator presence that it can be randomized.
Yeah, the Legend of the Link to the Past Super Metroid randomizer, where you travel between the 2 games and you have to complete both of them, is a very interesting one.
Wait a minute, what combination?
Yeah, Link to the Past and Super Metroid.
Wait, oh.
You know the fortune teller's house in Link to the Past?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is a teleportation point that takes you into Super Metroid.
Huh.
Well.
Yeah,
There's
it's a
couple other
cross-play.
places as well.
And not only are the 2 games connected like that, but you can find Legend of Zelda items in Super Metroid and vice versa. So it's not even like you have to go, like you could like go open a big chest in one of the Link to the Past dungeons and have it be like Variasuit, and then you have to go to the Super Metroid game and then be able to use the Variasuit to unlock more stuff. It's an incredible mental test of aptitude about knowing both those games.
Oh, that I would absolutely fail miserably at.
Still might be fun to try though, Brian.
It might be fun to try, but it would not be a comfort game. It would not be.
No, they go crazy. Like there's ones that are like cross keys, they call it, where all the keys are randomized. So like you could get a key in a dungeon, it's a key for a different dungeon.
I got tossed in 2 other games because the third one I gotta get and beat that one. But Brian, you're familiar with one of these games, the Alan Wake Control Remedy universe.
Yes.
So go on. I'll let you finish.
All right. So I started off with Control actually, and that game, once you got past like it was the battle mechanics were a little bit of a learning curve, but once you got that learning curve, as I will put it, Control is just SCP first-person shooter, basically. And that was fun when you got to do all the powers and then just blow the living hell out of all the, basically the hiss or the things that were converted into the monsters and stuff. Then I played Alan Wake after that one, and I found out, these games are connected in the same universe in a certain way. And Alan Wake, there is a little bit of a difficulty curve with that, but the story is just so fun, and it screws with you in such a good way. You're just like, This was a pain in the ass to get through, but I loved it.
Yeah, so Control is an amazing game. That is probably on my streaming. That is probably a game I'm going to be streaming this year, because
Gotta get ready for the sequel.
I gotta get ready for the sequel, and I also, because a lot of you recommended it to me. I still need to play Alan Wake, the first Alan Wake.
Oh my god, yes.
So I have it. I bought it like a Steam sale or two ago. I have it, so that it's. It's my aim is to not buy new video games this year and actually play what the fuck I already have.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. I'm gonna fail miserably, I know, but thank you for the token luck there, Spencer.
That was my goal up until they announced Resident Evil 9 was coming out this year. Now I'm going to buy less games this year, not none.
Nah.
And since you have Resident Evil 9 coming out next month.
Well,
Yeah, no, I thought this year was going to be light for me too, but then I figured it was only going to be Pokemon Champions, but then, like V said, RE9 with Leon, that's an automatic sale for me.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. And then the Control sequel.
Resident. Oh.
Capcom was like, Spencer hasn't spent any money recently, so let's have a game. Let's make a Resident Evil game, and let's put Leonard back into it. And
I am actually literally right in the middle of playing Alan Wake 2 right now. So if that tells you, yes, I am a fan of this franchise.
You're a fan of the franchise. All right, cool.
Going back to our save point vibe places, that game has one of the best ones. I don't know how far you are into Alan's part of the story, but if you've been through...
I've only just reached the city. I'm still very early on.
Okay, because there's a musical number coming up that is like one of the best like literally one of the best gaming set pieces of all time. Like
Herald of Darkness. I love that so much.
So what you're telling me is I should be keeping a save right before that, right?
Yes.
I can do that.
Pretty much at the start of like every chapter for Alan, just make sure you have a save because I don't want to spoil, and also it's kind of hard because the way that Alan Wake 2 works, where you have the two characters' stories that you can play in either like order. You're not forced to bounce between the two of them. You can choose to do all of one and then all of the other, or do one of each, or however order you want to do it.
But I adore, like, Control's one of my favorite games of all time. It is amazing how that game feels once you have all of your upgrades and you are just flying around catching freaking rockets sent at you in midair and throwing them back, just like I'm not always the biggest fan of power fantasy games, but this is a power fantasy done well.
And especially the ashtray maze.
You fool! It's been long enough now since I've played Control that I have forgotten some of the story, and so I'm gonna have to go back and be like, oh yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
my money, Remedy is doing the best in the industry right now.
Yeah,
like, they can't do any wrong for me.
Like I mean, they've done one, and that was Firebreak, but I don't think that does not affect my opinion of them as a company.
That's not. I mean, like, it's a multiplayer game. It's not going to be the same kind of game on its face, and I think people were kind of expecting that game to be like Control 2 for some reason, and it's like, no, that was never what it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
no.
Like
it's
I said, it doesn't take any. It's not getting any judgment from me because of it. Like, yeah, it wasn't a huge success, but also that's not what I'm going to that company for. So it's not going to stop me from buying the next Control.
Yeah, yes. I was, and it's funny that because I was just playing D&D yesterday, and the DM, we're in this dungeon, and I'm looking at the layout of this dungeon, and I look at him and I'm like, who designed this dungeon? The oldest house? Like,
like where's Polaris in all this?
Like I just like who designed this? So,
see, darling.
That's okay, when Control 2 comes out, I'll just, if Ethan asks, what game I'm playing, I'll send him a video of the Threshold Kids just to remind him. And then watch him drive back to Buffalo at top speed.
Deja played through Control. She loves the game as well. But when she got to the Threshold Kids and I knew it was coming, and I just watched her face just go through all of the stages of grief at the same time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It was wonderful.
So, Yep. I think the last game I will mention, because I'm looking at some time here, so the last game I'll mention, because I could go on, that is also just fun and just, it's silly. It's like fun in a very silly sort of way, and I'm talking about games made by the behemoth. So I'm talking like Castle Crashers and Battle Block Theater specifically, because if I need a good chuckle, those are ones
You're gonna get one from that.
I am absolutely going to get one. Even though I've heard the narration, the jokes a million times, they still tickle that part of my brain that you But no, I see what your point is about Resident Evil 9, though. It's like, oh, if that game is you can play it in third-person view, like, oh, no.
Yep.
Oh, no. God damn it. I'm not playing...
Well, the rumor is that you're going to have to play Grace in first person because it's more survival horror, and then you'll play Leon in third person because it's more action.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm seconding what Brian's saying there.
Ew.
I can see it working if you really like commit to it, and like the Leon action part isn't like RE6.
Yeah.
Because if it's like that, then no, I don't want to play like a kickboxing zombie bouncer or whatever.
Yeah, ew.
Resident Evil 7 was able to get me to play a first-person game. I normally hate first-person. You guys have all heard me talk about it before. Resident Evil 7 was able to get through that, and it is my favorite of the series despite that. I still would have preferred it to be third-person. And it's why I was glad the 8 had the option of playing it. I know it came in a patch, but still. I was hoping 9 was going to learn from that and make that just a base thing that you could do. But
ew.
Maybe not.
Yeah, well, whatever. Anyway, you'll have to.
I'm buying it either way. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm buying it.
You're buying it either way. It's just like first person, just like will make me nauseous. Like the game will physically make me nauseous if it's in first person. So it's like, come on. All right. Anyone
leave
else?
Your skill issues at home, Brian.
Leave my. I mean, I don't really want to have a barf bag next to me if I'm playing a first-person game. That seems to be a. I'm sorry. I can't tell my body do better. You son of.
Obviously, you didn't grow up on the Virtual Boy.
No. The thing that Nintendo still thinks is great for everyone is going to be.
I listened to another podcast, and one of the hosts is like excited to the point of like insanity about this. And like is going to buy another, like owns the original, is going to buy another one so they can play it on the Switch too. Baffling. Baffling.
I guess they hate themselves that much.
To be fair, also this person's a big Fortnite fan, so
they do hate themselves that much. All right, understood. Any more games people want to mention? Anyone that they play just for pure indulgence, pure fun?
I was just gonna say Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like I still like. Will play Pokemon after beating it just because it's that enjoyable. It's such an enjoyable experience. And I'm not even talking just about finishing post-game stuff, but just playing it and like doing breeding or shiny hunting or any of those like optional ways that you can extend the life of a Pokemon game.
Pokemon's a real good choice.
And especially with all the advancements they made to the quality of life of playing those games. Like, the things you can do in the newer games that you would never want to do in the older games. And I'm not even talking about just Gen 1, just, like, all of the 2D ones. Like, they are way more time-consuming to do, like, minor things.
I didn't until I went back, I forgot how much of a pain it was having to have 1 to 2 of your Pokemon just have all of the HMs so that you can use them and basically have an unused slot in your party.
Oops.
Yeah.
Glad that's not something you have to deal with anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's just that it's one of the things that frustrates me so much about criticism about Pokemon is just how much they've improved on just the actual playing of the game is so much easier and more streamlined and more focused and just has shed all the RPG elements that are not necessary to play the game.
Also, here's, as I say, when we're talking about Pokemon, here's the thing that old Pokemon doesn't have. It doesn't have Galarian Rapidash, and it doesn't have my girl Tinkaton. And those, right there, make the Switch games the best ones.
That's it.
That's Gen 1 attitude applied to later games, but all
I know, I was joking, Spencer.
But to be serious, though, there are mods that have actually been put in so that you can play the newer Pokemon in the older games for, like, randomizers. Where they have randomizers that are for, like, every gen, but it's off, like, the the Gen 3 engine. Or whatever.
I've actually seen those. I have not played any of them yet, but I have seen them, and they are very cool.
Yeah, I don't either. I spend more of my time doing like Nuzlocke if I'm going to do challenge runs like that.
And yes, as I was saying, I was purely joking.
We can never tell with you, okay?
Okay.
There you
You
go.
say stuff like RE4 is a bad game, so.
Oh, we're gonna bring that chestnut back every single time. That's just the way of it.
Yeah.
That's just the way.
Well, I'm
of
never letting it go.
I didn't bring it up this time.
it. Just get married, you two.
Too late.
Oh yeah, the love that shall never be.
No, well.
So
No, because that would just be me like forcing you to watch me speedrun RE4 for like 24 hours straight. And
You will
by
learn
the
to
end
love
of
it.
I'll be like, maybe it is a good game. Was I wrong? Yeah, I have a game before we go.
All right.
The game that has brought me the most joy in several years, for several years, every time it comes out, is Deltarune. And the fact that it's chapter-based means I get to experience that joy over and over again for at least another several years. I adore Deltarune. I love the art, the characters, the music. Like, it is something special to me. To the point that I use one of the characters from Deltarune as my online moniker at this point. Like, it is... I don't know. I don't even know how to express how much this game is just a part of me now. The only reason it is not on my favorite games list, and it's not the #1 game, is because I refuse to put a game there until it's finished. Because there's always a chance for it to drop the ball before the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not a complete game yet.
Yeah, but it is definitely something special to me, and it is something that has brought me so much joy every time it comes. Anybody else here play Deltarune before? Or am I alone here?
No.
You're all alone.
Although I have heard
Do
of
the
it.
tiny violin.
That's all I had.
All right, Ryan. Anything from you?
Nope, I think I'm all set. Yeah, the Alan Wake and Remedy universe was the last one for me, so yep, I'm all good.
Go Remedy. All right. Well.
Yes.
So if any of you out there have any thoughts or opinions on this episode or any other episode of DLC, you can let us know right on the website. Click the feedback button. Let us have it. You can give us ideas for future episodes if you feel so inclined. You can also join in on an episode. Every so often I update the upcoming recordings, so check it out. Let me know if you want to be in on an episode. And again, every single one of these can be found not just on the website, but also at Apple Podcasts /iTunes, YouTube, and Spotify. So there we are. All it remains for me to do is to thank Veronica, Spencer, and Ryan for being on this episode. On that fun note, I'm Brian. Have a good one, everybody.